to see something. You about to see something. It's coming, it's coming. We're unstoppable now. Ain't nothing gonna take us down. We're unstoppable now. We're unstoppable now.
Hey, what is up guys? Welcome back to Generation Z Gadgets. So yes, I have changed the name of this channel. I thought to give it a little bit more of a distinct name. I didn't want to associate myself with a lot of the other news outlets out there because I feel like there's a lot more than just news. This is a specific tech news tailored specifically for the average consumer. So I thought to give it a bit of a different name. You know, I'm part of the Generation Z, so I'm part of the generation that was born into the digital age and born into this world of gadgets, and I feel like I have a certain understanding of it that maybe other people might not have. I definitely have a certain outlook on it. This video might be a little bit late compared to some of the other reviews that have been released. So basically I'm just going to be, again, just sort of my normal format, which is talking about some important details about the Galaxy S10. So I'm going to start with talking about the top new features of the Galaxy S10, top issues with the Galaxy S10. It's important to know both the pros and cons of what you are considering buying. Also how it compares to competing smartphones, so the iPhone XS and XS Max, sorry, the Huawei Mate 20 Pro, the Google Pixel 3, the Xiaomi Mi Mix 3, and finally, is it worth the $1,000+ because, you know, this is a very expensive phone you're buying. You need to know whether it's going to be worth your money or not, because at the end of the day, you know, as good as the phone might be, is it good enough to justify the $1,000+ price point? You know, these days flagship phones are getting really expensive, so you should have like some really killer features to justify that expensive price. So before I get on with that, I just want to say that my business email is still open. I may be changing the email address in the future, but then I will update it on my channel and everything like that. Anyone who wants to sponsor one of my videos and wants me to review product. So, and also I'm going to be starting a Facebook. So I'm probably going to be calling it Generation Z Gadgets. I'll leave a link in the description below to that too. If it's possible, I'll leave a card over here so it's a little easier for you to click on. I'll be posting regular updates on upcoming videos, my immediate thoughts on new technology, some behind the scenes shots and footage, and then just like short reviews on things that I might not cover in real videos because it's just something kind of smaller, like an app or something like that. I usually don't review apps on this channel, but you know. So without any further ado, we're gonna get into the video. So first of all, I'm gonna provide timestamps for each part of the video in the description below, so you don't have to like kind of guess where in the video you can discuss what. So I'm gonna be discussing those 4 areas that I just mentioned, and basically we're just going to be going through each of those. If you're interested in only a certain part of the Galaxy S10, you can feel free to look in the description. It'll be at the top of the description. You can just click where you want to click. So first, the top new features of the Galaxy S10. So first I need to explain the variants of the Galaxy S10 because it is different this year from any previous year. So first variant is the Galaxy S10e. So this starts at $749. They come in sizes of 128 gigabytes or 256 gigabytes, and both of those are expandable. You have 4 colors. You have Prism White, Prism Black, Prism Blue, and Flamingo Pink. Those all look like really nice colors. It's intended to be like the cheap end models, so it's supposed to compete with more budget phones such as the iPhone XR or the OnePlus 6T. But this video is centered more around the higher end options, which are the Galaxy S10 and S10 Plus. And like and comment if you want a buyer's guide specifically on the Galaxy S10e in the comment section below, or you want like a comparison with that and other similar smartphones, I'd be happy to do that for you. So the Galaxy S10, which is the second variant, this is just the normal Galaxy S10 now. This starts at $800 and it comes in the same 4 colors I just mentioned. It has also 128 gig, 256 and 512 storage options that are all expandable, of course. This is the higher end model for people who want a top performing smartphone and the best luxury experience in the market. As of this video, if you buy Galaxy S10, you also get free Galaxy Buds, and I'm thinking about maybe doing a separate buyer's guide on Galaxy Buds because I find those really interesting in a lot of ways and how they stack up to, you know, the popular AirPods and whatever. So like and comment if you want that. And then the third variant is the Galaxy S10 Plus. So this starts at $1,000. It comes in the same 4 colors that I just mentioned, plus the ceramic white and black finish. I think those both look amazing, and I'll talk a little bit more about that later, but they're using some very premium materials. The Galaxy S10 Plus comes with 128, 256, 512, and 1 terabyte expandable storage options. It's the best that Samsung has to offer for the consumers who desire like the top of the line performance, the best display in the market, and just overall a pretty much unrivaled smartphone experience. They also do come with that free pair of Galaxy Buds. So there's also a Galaxy S10 5G, which is the same smartphone in every way except it has the capability to run 5G cellular networks, but it's not currently for sale, so for the purposes of this video, I'm not going to be talking about it. So those are the variants of this year's Galaxy S10 phones. As I said earlier, this video will be centered around the Galaxy S10, S10 Plus, not the S10e. I'm looking to advise consumers who aren't limited by their budget, who want the top of the line performance, and who want like just the most out of their Samsung devices. So what makes these two phones so popular? It starts with the display. The displays are 6.1/6.4 inch on the diagonal AMOLED displays with a resolution of 3040 by 1440 pixels. So that's a full 1440p panel with more pixels to spare. But don't let that fool you. These displays are top class and unrivaled. The pixel density, in case you're wondering, is 550 pixels on the Galaxy S10 and 522 on the Galaxy S10 Plus. There are also HDR dynamic displays which adjust the colors to look optimal on your screen. There's a 93% screen to body ratio compared to some of the other ones. Here's some of the other smartphone screen to body ratios. It just shows you how small the bezels on the Galaxy S10 and S10 Plus really are. So there's no notch. Instead, what you have is a simple cutout in the upper right hand corner that houses the front-facing cameras. So this is what Samsung calls their Infinity O display, and they debuted that sometime last year. This is the first time that they're debuting in an actual product. So in my opinion, the Infinity O display looks much better than the notch on other phones, namely the iPhone XS and XS Max. When compared side by side, the aesthetic difference is pretty obvious, at least to me. And in my opinion, the aesthetic of the Infinity O display actually is superior than the notch design. But of course, that's up to your opinion and interpretation. It's just my opinion. I think the Infinity O display just looks more futuristic, and it just makes you feel like there is more screen real estate. The sacrifice here was that Samsung couldn't fit the same amount of sensors as they could with their old designs, so there's no iris face scanning possible on the Galaxy S10 S10 Plus. So instead, to unlock your phone, the fingerprint sensor is back, but it's better than ever. It's time that they're using technology that's ultrasonic. So basically an ultrasonic fingerprint scanner, which not to be confused with optical display sensors, which is something different. Ultrasonic is much better because it scans and recognizes much more quickly, and it doesn't require shining a light on your finger, which is how optical display sensors work. Some phone like the OnePlus 6T uses an optical display sensor, and basically what that does is it shines a light when it scans your thumb or finger or whatever, and in the dark it can be really unpleasant. So the ultrasonic fingerprint sensor actually doesn't need to do that. The security of ultrasonic versus the optical display sensor is still unknown, but it's likely that the ultrasonic fingerprint or just fingerprinting technology in general is much more secure than facial recognition. Plus all the great benefits like your twin can't unlock the phone. In addition, the cameras are absolute beasts on these guys. The back of the Galaxy S10 and S10 Plus have triple lens cameras. That is insanity, and it's definitely something that's relatively new to the smartphone market. Well, there's one telephoto lens that's 12 megapixels and has an f2.4 aperture. The second lens is a wide angle. It's also 12 megapixels. And it can switch between f1.5 and f2.4 aperture mode, and it switches between these two apertures. And this is actually something that I believe debuted on the Galaxy S9 and S10 Plus from last year. But basically what it does, which a lot of other smartphone cameras don't do, is it switches between the two apertures based on the lighting of the area. And then the third lens is an ultra wide lens. This is a 16 megapixel lens with an f2.2 aperture. So these cameras are just craziness. There's certain capabilities that are really special on the Samsung Galaxy S10 and S10 Plus are like 123-degree panoramic field of view from the ultra wide camera, which is the same range of vision as a human eye. There's also 2x optical zoom, not digital zoom. So just look at like these 3 different shots from each lens on the rear camera from Samsung's website, which I'll put up on the screen right now. These just show the different capabilities of the various lenses. There's also an ultra wide panorama too, which I'll show an example of what that looks like there. Alright, so onto the front facing cameras. So there's a 10 megapixel lens on the Galaxy S10, and then that same lens is also there on the Galaxy S10 plus one 8 megapixel depth sensing camera on the Galaxy S10 Plus. There's an f1.9 aperture for the 10 megapixel camera and an f2.2 aperture for the 8 megapixel depth sensing camera. So you have to remember that the number of megapixels is not everything, which a lot of people, I think mostly the average consumers, don't realize. Samsung has increased the pixel size, not the number of pixels, so that no longer matters. The resolution is actually better that way. So of course, depth of field shots for both front and back cameras is possible and looks great. How it compares to the iPhone XS, the Pixel 3, and other flagship cameras is yet to be tested, but I don't think you should have any complaints here. The cameras are also capable of like a bokeh effect. Super slow-mo mode is also available at up to 960 frames per second. And also you have augmented reality, which is part of the depth sensing technology, so you can have things like AR emoji. There's also up to 60 frames per second 4K video recording, but at this point in 2019 that should really come standard with any flagship smartphone. This phone also comes with Wi-Fi 6, which is a new generation of mobile Wi-Fi capabilities. These capabilities are actually really useful in the real world, apart from other Wi-Fi upgrades that might not have really impacted you in a noticeable way. So does your phone ever connect to Wi-Fi that's actually really weak, which makes it effectively slower than your cellular data connection? Like for example, I think the best example for this is in an airport, where you connect to your phone will automatically connect to the Wi-Fi, but the Wi-Fi is usually pretty slow at airports, so you actually end up getting a worse internet connection than if you just use your cellular data. Wi-Fi 6 intelligently assesses before connecting to a nearby network if the bandwidth is fast enough to support the task you're doing without problems. If so, it'll just connect, and that's awesome. But if not, you'll continue using your data connection, which I think is perfect. Also, Wi-Fi 6 is much faster, at up to 9.6 gigabits per second compared to 3.5 gigabits per second on Wi-Fi 5. Note that these speeds are theoretical, 9.6 gigabits per second. So Wi-Fi 6 can also handle connections from many more devices under a single Wi-Fi network, much more than Wi-Fi 5. Okay, furthermore, the battery capability on this smartphone is somehow larger than last year's, despite having a larger screen real estate and still being super thin. So you have a 3400 milliamp hour battery on the Galaxy S10 and a 4100 milliamp hour battery on the Galaxy S10 Plus. That's really big. You also have fast wireless charging 2.0, which is 27 to 36% faster. This is also officially one of the last flagship smartphones that will use the 3.5 millimeter headphone jack. I'm honestly not really sure why it's still in the phone, but in 2019, I guess some people still want that. The phone is now a wireless charger too, so you can charge other Qi enabled phones, your Galaxy Buds, which we'll touch on briefly later, but again, I wanted to make maybe a separate video for that, and other wirelessly charged accessories on your phone. So you can basically just place a phone on the back of this, but maybe AirPods at some point, Galaxy Buds, a lot of things that are wirelessly charged, you can charge that on the back of your phone now. There's also some cool features that don't fit into a particular category, such as Bixby routines, Bixby Vision, up to 12 gigabytes of RAM on the Galaxy S10 Plus, which is crazy because a lot of laptops don't even have that much RAM. There's also stereo speakers. I believe they're downwards facing, but don't quote me on that, I'm not positive. There's also Samsung's new One UI, which is a lot cleaner, though it's not perfect and it's not nowhere near the kind of clean experience you get from stock Android on the Pixel 3. You also have a Snapdragon 855 processor and dual audio Bluetooth connection. So those are essentially all the pros of this phone. You'll ever notice, at least. There's probably a lot more, but those are the main ones. I don't think I missed any. So there aren't any major issues, and this is not the second part of this video, but here are the top issues I have. So number one, the headphone jack. Samsung, it's 2019. In my opinion, the headphone jack is wasted space in this phone at this point that should be used for battery or other important benefits. I'm sure there are many more. With the rise of Bluetooth accessories such as AirPods, for example, which have really dominated the market and given a lot of people the chance to use wireless accessories, people are realizing that it's a lot better in many ways, and that the 3.5mm headphone jack is kind of getting obsolete. One UI is also still slightly laggy, and there are still stutters, which shows that the software and hardware are not blood brothers, meaning that they aren't made for each other the same way that the Google Pixel 3 is made for Android, or even a better example, Apple's iPhone and iOS. So the durability too, which is Gorilla Glass 6, IP68 water resistance, especially with that ceramic finish. I'm not sure how the durability will be, and that's definitely something that's a little questionable right now. There's also still a chin at the bottom of this phone, and I'm just thinking, if Samsung wants to go all out, they need to remove all the existing bezels, and the fact that they have a chin there is a little confusing to me, and it definitely takes away from the whole bezel-less look on the phone. So also, not all the colors are available in the US. I'm not sure about the availability, so you'll have to see once you actually try to purchase the phone. I believe all the ones I mentioned are available in the US, but I think there's like a purple color or like a really cool coral blue color, or there's some like really cool colors, yellow colors, I think, green colors, that aren't available in the US. And then finally, I would say that the pricing is a con, but you have to think about also the competitors who manufacture flagship smartphones these days are all pricing their smartphones at similar prices, and the differences from one product and another are pretty much negligible. So now we're going to talk about how it compares to competing smartphones, so like the iPhone XS, the Huawei Mate 20 Pro, the Google Pixel 3, the Xiaomi Mi Mix 3. So the iPhone XS, XS Max are great phones, but the entry-level iPhone XS, which starts at $1,000 compared to only $800 on the Galaxy S10, is just kind of sad, honestly. For someone who's looking for the cheapest of the premium end of the market, the Galaxy S10 is a better buy for sure. The Huawei Mate 20 Pro is slightly different to buy and definitely the less popular phone of the two, and it goes for more money at $1,340, but is a very premium phone with a nearly bezel-less display. It comes with a notch design though, and a bigger battery capacity than the S10 Plus at 4,200 milliamp hours. It's also capable of fast charging, which is always a plus. If that's something that's really important to you, the battery, I would consider maybe getting the Mate 20 Pro if you just need that little bit of extra juice. Although the optimization, I'm not so sure about Huawei versus Samsung. They're probably not too good in both of them because, again, like I said before, the hardware is not native to the software, and the software is not native to the hardware. So you have a little discrepancy, and there's a lot of optimization that Apple can do, for example, that Android manufacturers cannot do. The Google Pixel 3 is much better in terms of pricing, as it starts at only $600 right now. This is a current deal they're doing, so if you really want the Google Pixel 3 at a much lower price, you should definitely get it right now. So this special deal does end on March 31st, so I would hurry up. Yet this phone lacks in many areas, such as smaller display sizes, 5.5 inches and 6.3 inches. Though there's also an older processor, and the fact that it's in its mid-product cycle at this point is something to consider, that it's not a new phone by any means. However, if you like that clean stock Android experience, you might want to opt for something like the Pixel 3 or 3 XL. So finally, the Mi Mix 3, a truly beautiful phone that originally debuted this bezel-less display concept to the mass market. It also had a display that rivaled Samsung in terms of quality and bezel-lessness. There is no notch and there's no camera cutout, and its pricing starts at only $475. It also is a 5G capable phone, whereas with Samsung you have to buy a certain variant for that to work. However, there's always a however with this. The problem with the Xiaomi Mi Mix 3 is that its US sales are relatively weak, and because of this, since Xiaomi is a China-based company, compared to companies like Samsung and LG, or just most Asian or foreign tech brands in general, they have a very, very difficult time getting their products to sell in the United States. So because of this, it's pretty hard to buy a Mi Mix 3. So maybe just to avoid the headache, or because you want to use a phone that other people in your country actually use, you might want to choose the Galaxy S10 or S10 Plus. Not saying the Xiaomi Mi Mix is a bad phone by any means, but you have to remember it is a China-based company, so they're not really thinking too much about the US consumers. So in closing, is the Galaxy S10 worth the $1,000+ essentially? Well, they look to be great phones, and I don't see any competitors coming out with anything better for sure. The LG G7 recently came out too, but I don't think it's a fair comparison either, because the S10 and S10 Plus, based on my first impression, seem better in almost every single way compared to the LG G7. But I can make a video on the LG G7 if you would like, but honestly I don't really see what it could offer you that Samsung isn't already currently offering. What do you think about the new Infinity O display? Let me know down in the comment section below. I will be leaving links to buy the Galaxy S10 and S10 Plus, the iPhone XS and XS Max, the Pixel 3, the Huawei Mate 20 Pro, and the Mi Mix 3 if you're interested. I know I could have compared the Galaxy S10 to a dozen more phones, but this video was already way too long, first of all, and second of all, it's meant to showcase the features of the Galaxy S10. It's not a comparison video, so for the purposes of this video, I'm omitting all those other competitors that might actually have maybe a decent chance. But overall, I'd say that the Galaxy S10, while it's a superb phone, it gives you some of the best displays in the market, processing speed, up to 12 gigabytes of RAM, great bargain for in terms of internal storage, great battery capacities, great new technologies like Wi-Fi 6 and new Qi wireless charging capabilities on the back of the phone, and tons of more stuff. Plus you get a headphone jack. Even if I might not be in favor of it, maybe that's something that matters to you in a positive way, so maybe the Galaxy S10 is for you, who knows. So my final verdict would be yes. Yes, this phone is something that you should buy if you're in the market looking for a new smartphone. The next few months will be very busy in terms of the smartphones, but I tried to cover the current competitors as best as I could, including the ones that came out very recently, such as the one from LG. But even with all that, considering all that, I think it's fair to say the Galaxy S10 and S10 Plus are very, very good phones, and I think you should buy them if you're in the market for them and if you have the money. Anyway guys, thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up and click the subscribe button so you can get more videos like this one. And also, if you just want to support my channel, I would really appreciate it. Again, business email. Please email that email address that will be in the link in the description below, and also in the about section on my channel page if you're interested in contacting me. I hope I get to be making some more videos in the near future. And yeah, besides that, I don't know what else I could say. I'll have that Facebook up and running pretty shortly. So thank you very much for watching, and as always, I'll see you in the next video.